Loss is defined as the fact or process of losing something or someone. It can be painful, cause discomfort, or even lead to something as serious as depression, amongst other things. It comes in many forms, as we'll be discussing throughout this video, but first, a question for you. How often do you allow loss to be the end-all be-all, or you could say most pivotal or final point of any particular situation in your life? This week's mundane focus can be found amongst the many useful senses of the human body. Since we use them daily, we often sidestep or just outright ignore how much we rely on each one. That is, until it's impaired, or even worse, lost. Welcome to Lessons from the Mundane, or LFTM, the show where you and I are able to glean life-giving lessons from everyday things all around us, otherwise known as the mundane. My name is Jason, or you can call me Jace, your humble host for these next few minutes, and a fellow believer in living a life of abundance and fulfillment. Something I truly desire to share with you. Guys, this week's video is going to be a bit of a short one, but the topic is pretty important, so I think I may have to revisit it sometime soon. Either way, I have this guy to thank for my topic. Say hello to my little brother. That's right. Little. That's no big deal. He's only taller than me and has the greater muscle mass by far. I could still take him.
Stop the cap.
But moving right along, I'd like to bring to your attention the invention of Braille. Braille is a touch-based reading and writing system that was born out of situations fraught or filled with loss. Our source today is the Braille Works website, which I'll be linking in the description below. In the early 1800s, if I remember correctly, Charles Barbier, or Barbier, was a member of Napoleon's French army, and he witnessed many of his fellow soldiers actually becoming casualties because they had to use lamps to read late-night messages or orders. So out of the need for being able to read without a light, he created the 12-celled earlier version of Braille. This was later improved upon and turned into a 6-celled reading system, much easier for the hands, by Louis Braille, after whom this new reading and writing style was named. I would encourage each and every single one of you watching this right now to take a look at that article and see for yourself how loss in both cases was turned from a catastrophe to a catalyst. Was it painful to endure? Did it still count as a loss? Yes. But the underlying difference between you and that future you that's already conquered this situation is that that person didn't stop. So in order to catch up, you can't afford to let this become where your story ends. This isn't a roadblock, this is a speed bump. Your body is an amazing creation. The fact that injury to, or even complete loss of sight, can result in heightened senses everywhere else, that is a common theme that we need to start using to our advantage. For example, although sadly not true in all cases, it is a fact that you can find some of the best mentors and most patient and loving nurturers in men who've grown up in single-parent households or women who in their earlier lives have known nothing but pain and abuse. Let me ask you this, do you understand how powerful you can become when you're not only able to reframe the situations you encounter, but repurpose them as well? Reframing has to do with the perspective from which you are looking at this situation. Very important. But I could argue that the most important thing you can do, especially when we're talking about loss, is repurposing a situation, which has to do with your understanding now of that occurrence's role in your life. I mean, it has less to do with racking your brain over why it happened and more to do with your answer to the following 3 questions. Number 1, what are you going to make of this now that it's happened? Notice the question in no way, shape, or form implies you have a choice in it happening, because you and I both know we don't choose what happens to us. Number 2, who are you going to become as a result of this happening? And number 3, what kind of impact will your answers to the first 2 questions have on the world and the people around you. So can you do me a favor and just take a quick moment, pause the video if you have to, and think about or even write down what your relationship thus far has been with loss. Gaining is an everyday thing. Losing is also an everyday thing. So yes, while it does appear to be mundane, its lessons forever remain. My name is Jason, or you can call me Jace. This was Lessons from the Mundane, or LFTM, and I speak favor and fulfillment over your life. Understand that as long as you have breath in your lungs, the story isn't over. So guys, that means even if you're feeling down right now and your week had a terrible start, what all that means is that there's always time for one more plot twist. I'll be seeing you. Take care, guys.